Howdy y'all, welcome back to Rat's Nest Hot Rods. We are putting the catalyst in, the poly primer. This is Featherfill G2 polyester primer. Works great. Liquid body filler basically. And I'm using a TCP Global 2.5 millimeter spray gun. It's kind of one of their generic guns. I don't know the name offhand, but if you look at the other side of the table, that red and black box is its box. It's okay. I don't particularly care for it that much. It works all right for this poly as long as you reduce it. For me anyway, I like to spray quickly. I've upgraded since then to a Airgunsa, Iwata Airgunsa 3.0 millimeter tip, and that is a nice gun. And you know, I paid $70 for this one from TCP Global, and I think I paid $109 for the Iwata, and I really just wish I would have paid that extra $30 and gone with an Iwata. Oh well, lesson learned. Few tips on spraying poly primer if you've never sprayed it before. Be ready to spray. Everything's got to be ready. Everything's got to be cleaned. As when you're stirring right here, it goes in the gun and you got to be shooting. This day here, we're looking at the thermostat or thermometer back there, just short of 70 degrees, and this still kicks off really quick. I mix a quart at a time. It's easier to do it that way for measuring sake, and also spray out. Clean the gun between every time you run a quart through it, quite liberally. Spray through the lacquer thinner or acetone, whatever you prefer to use. I use carb cleaner also, as you've seen in some of my other videos. And I also, one good tip is run that thing through the paint filter before you put the catalyst in, because you just that's the time to do it. Once the catalyst is in, it's go time. Start getting it on the panel. So here it goes. We lay it on the panel. I like to go different directions on each panel or each coat. I'm going to end up spraying 3 coats of the poly primer on here. This is the first coat, I should say. This is the first coat of the first series of poly primers, and by now these are all finished panels, and waiting in my other garage for a dry fit on the car. But I did this 3 times, 3 coats every time, and you'll see those in videos upcoming, and then blocked between them, starting with the 80 grit, and you'll see the blocking here shortly. And I think I like the fact that I'm laying this down, and I cut out the part before this where I laid down fresh epoxy on the epoxy base, or epoxy primer I should say. I like laying this down and then doing the first blocking so I can see if there's anything major that I couldn't see with my eyes. I know there's no air bubbles. I know it's got great adhesion this way. And then if I was going to do a wipe over the whole panel, then I would do it after I did this first coat and then blocked it out with 80 grit. I just like having that decent base right on that fresh epoxy. So I think I'm going to speed you up here, and we'll start rocking and rolling on this. I'll come in later, and appreciate you all watching. Appreciate all the new subscribers that joined up. Double R Restorations sent a bunch of people my way. I will put his channel in the link below so that you can go visit him if you've never seen his stuff before. He makes some great videos, and he's getting better all the time, and he does some really good product reviews. But be careful, you'll end up spending money if you do watch his product reviews. So anyway, go over there, and then thanks for all you new folks that came over from Double R's channel. Let me know what you think, what I need to improve on, so on and so forth. It takes me about 3 hours to make a 10-minute video. And it's probably a good 8 hours worth of work in each 10 minutes of actual auto body or car work, getting cut down to that 10 minutes. So I'm really liking it, but it does take up some time that I can be out there working on the car. But I know I've learned so much from the other guys on YouTube over the past 3 years that I really want to start giving back to other folks that are trying to do the same thing. This is my 65 Cadillac. Let's speed this up.
It's a cold, dark night on the old Wood River. No fish in sight. I see nothing at all. Still I set my net, sit back and shiver. Gotta feed my family and my tired old dog. Scratch fishing along the banks of the old Wood River. Get the feeling the fish are all long gone. They used to run thick along the banks of the old Wood River.
All right, one coat done, and we're on to coat number 2 here, and let's fly through this. Not a whole lot to see here. Basically, I'd cleaned the gun, mix up another quart, and we're gonna rock and roll through this one. One thing I did learn is, well, I knew, but I'd never done it before, was reducing the feather fill. You can reduce up to 10% with acetone, and it makes a huge difference. I don't think I figured it out here. I think I started doing it on the 3rd coat, and laid down a lot smoother. And you will get some waves, and you'll basically spray waves into your panel, which can be sanded out, of course. That's going to happen. At least to me, it happens no matter what. But don't worry too much about it. Try and get it on there real wet, and then when you get to sanding, you can sand that kind of tiger striping out. All right, back to high speed.
Just don't seem right. Scratch fishing along the banks of the old Wood River. Get the feeling the fish are all long gone. They used to run thick along the banks of the old Wood River. Guess it might be time to pack up and move on.
All right, all 3 coats down, and it's time to use the guide coat. This is dry guide coat. It's not the 3M brand. It's a there's a guy on eBay that sells this. It's the same stuff, black carbon, or you can get white, and I think it's Blackjack is the name of the brand. Anyway, just do dry guide coat on eBay, and you'll come up with it, and it's about I don't know, 20% of the cost of the 3M. Doesn't have as nice of an applicator, but who cares really. So we're going to lay this guide coat down, and we're going to get into block sanding. I'll bust out the 30-inch marine block here to get started, and we got a lot of blocking ahead of us, so I'm going to speed this up and rock and roll. Main thing to know here is try to stay away from the body lines at first. Cross hatch as much as I can, and then use good old-fashioned common sense for the rest on some of these curves. And one thing I would recommend is buy yourself a full set of Durablocks. That's what I've got there. And buy yourself a set of the 11-inch soft sanders. If you're going to do something like this, you'll thank me later for it. All right, let me get out of the way here and let you guys keep watching.
From Crystal to Matty door. The clerks all know our name. They know that we are scientists. They know we're heading up to space. We need some broken computers, some 80s cell phones, and some paint. We'll bring along a ghetto blaster to track the progress that we made. And oh, but every night we gotta tear it down and stash it in the garage. Cause we cannot trip the fuzz, we can't have the authorities catching on. They'll see our thrusters burning, by the time they show up we'll be gone. And in the tabloids, we'll have to do some interviews about machines made out of broken glass and the amazing things that they can do. And oh, I ain't afraid anymore. Oh, I ain't afraid anymore. Building a time machine and a garbage, building a
Now that's the way you block sound. Really, really fast. 25 times speed and cut all the boring stuff out. Well, it's actually all boring, but I tell you, if you hate block sanding, then people are going to be able to tell when they look at your paint job because you're going to not be meticulous. It's just time, so take as much as you need. And you know what? It takes me 3 times to prime a panel and block it out. I don't know if I should be better than that or what, but these are fairly straight panels, as you can see. It takes time, and you just got to do it. Thanks for all the new subscribers that joined up, and appreciate that very much, and especially Double R. Really, really appreciate your support. It does mean a lot to me. And as always, ladies and germs, boys and girls, peace and grease, sucker.